Hello and welcome into another exciting edition of Talking Bengals. We are a full crew today. We have Josh joining us, Nick joining us, and Beach Bum Bernsey is back to the show, fresh off of a relaxing vacation, doing fantastic things and repping his Cincinnati pride, eating Skyline chili at the beach. Few things could be better. So Bernsey, how are you feeling this week?
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little burnt under this hat. I didn't have it the whole time. So, yeah, and about as burnt as the officiating have been all week.
Boom! Josh, how you doing tonight?
Beautiful, beautiful. Ready to get in Monday night game going.
Word. Nick?
Josh, I don't know that I would call us beautiful, but, this past officiating crew for the Bengals-Chiefs game, they were definitely not beautiful. A few mishaps that I'm going to be bringing up my little topic here when I get to talk.
So before we let Nick just get on a soapbox for the next 45 years of our lives, we are going to go into top stories. Deep. Somebody stole Zach Taylor's car. That's my coach. Don't touch his car, people. He's having a hard enough time as it is. He's already got a fight against the other team and the officiating crew. Can you cut the guy some slack and leave his car alone? We will find you. We will hunt you down, and we will do nothing because those police officers have already taken care of it. We are very dissatisfied with you, person. Bad person. Other top story.
The guy's having a hard enough time finding a win. Don't make him find his car, too.
It's the Had a Bad Day song just playing really loud behind him right now. Oh, my goodness. In other news, Paycor Stadium has announced new upgrades that are potentially out there. Bernsey, can you come out of your hiding and tell us about it?
Yeah, just expect all of your taxes to go up in the greater Cincinnati area to pay for it, especially Hamilton County. You're welcome, America.
This is why it pays to live south of the river. Just saying, man, you want to keep that in mind. Boone County has a low tax rate. You're not going to pay for a stadium, but you can still enjoy it. So there it is. And I'm giving a free plug to Boone County. Move there and do crap. And I left. Anyways, getting into real things that people care about. Football time. It is everyone's favorite segment. Bernsey loves it. I love it. Everyone here thinks it's great. It's Cheers and Jeers. So the first person up for Cheers and Jeers, we're going to throw Josh right under the bus. Josh, go.
All right, I'm going to say my cheers. Joe Burrow looked like he was ready to actually play. Aside from that fumble, that was bad. Looked like he was down to me half the time when they were showing him. It looked like he might have been down. Real time, it looked like he was definitely down. I don't know how real time they thought he was a fumble, but Cheers, he looked like he was on point. He had some bullets, didn't float him too much. Looked like he was ready to go, and he had a point to go out, play against what everyone's saying is the best team in the league and make them look silly. And he did that most of the game. And the shot after the game of him walking away, looking at the scoreboard, I have never seen him so disappointed. It kind of makes me happy that he was as mad as he was, because he's going to go out and go scorched earth on every team he's going to see from this point forward. I cannot wait for it. Jeers, we're all going to talk about it. Every single one of us. It's going to be the officiating. It was horrible. There were some big missed calls. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we've got three other people that want to talk about how bad the officiating was, but it was atrocious. I'm going to let Zach go next.
Well, my cheer goes to the same cheer that I had at the end of the preseason, and that goes to Jermaine Burton. He was given a shot. He was given an opportunity. He got targeted twice, but the big one was right after halftime for 47 yards and put us in great field position to get down the field. So shout out to Jermaine for that one. Everybody down here in Roll Tide Country believes in you, and you just showed the country that you can do it too and fill in for T and even take over for him next year. potentially. You never know. We may keep T another year. I don't know. We'll see. My jeer, excuse me. I keep doing that. Goes to the penalties in general. There was just a lot of bad penalties throughout that entire game, whether it was the officiating or whether it was senseless plays. We just had a lot of racked up penalties across the board. And other than the end of the game, it was pretty balanced, I feel like, as far as the officiating goes. It was just a really bad call there at the end. And I said it to you guys in the thing, like, yes, it was pass interference. Everybody, I think, agrees that it was pass interference at this point. But you wouldn't call it on the flip side, in my personal opinion, non-professional, because I'm not a professional. This is just some side thing that we do, right? So, yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think they turn it around. We've got it's Tuesday. 5 more days to figure it out before Monday. So let's go.
I'm going to pick it back up from. I was going to pick it up from there, Bernsey. I mean, I think you left it at a great spot. I think the jeers definitely going to go towards Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase with the attitude. I understand the sentiment. While I do love the fact that he's passionate enough to be upset about that and care enough to try to fight for himself, you got to let it go. You got to understand that at some point you're just not going to make your point any better. And after you've made the argument and they're not throwing the flag, walk away. You got to walk away. Once Joe Burrow comes over, pulls you one time, and then you go back, that's when they threw the flag, man. You got to just let it go. My cheers, 100% Yoshi. Yoshi, my man. God, I hope to God that we can get him on this podcast at one point, because that man is a living legend right now as a Bengal. He is outperforming every other wide receiver that's on the field. He's a stud, absolute stud. I cannot wait to continue to see how he performs the rest of the year. Casey, finishes off.
All right, so I will start off with my jeer and then go to a cheer. So my jeer is in the ineptitude of the coaching staff at the end of the game. You have to keep your foot on the accelerator, and some of the play calling there did not give them the opportunity to do that. They put themselves behind a little bit. And then the other part about the coaching staff at the end, and maybe there's a better reason, somebody might already know it. We're recording Tuesday night, and I've not had as much time to read ahead as other, people get paid to do this do. But why wasn't Jordan Battle on the field? Why was Zach Carter on the field? Why was Joseph Osai on the field? Are those really the best guys that you want out there? And I mean, Dijon Anthony, nothing wrong with him. I think he's going to have a good career. But do you really want a 7th-round rookie out there in one of the most pivotal plays of the game? When you actually have a legit safety with game experience and a year under his belt that's available and who's made big plays? I don't think so. So, I mean, maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe Jordan Battle's not feeling it. Maybe, with BJ Hill being banged up and Sheldon Rankins being banged up, maybe they had no other choice who was out there. But those are not the people, those 3 individuals in particular are not who I want to rely on a 4th and 16 game on the line kind of play. You got to have better people out there for that. But, I mean, all in all, the cheer for this one, this actually was a good team loss. I know we said that last week, and that was our funny little clip we had going. But I'm not ticked off at the team for this loss. This is how these games go. They played hard. They made mistakes, yes. The Chiefs made mistakes. It was an ugly game at times. It was a really clean game at times. But it looked like a legitimate football team, not the powder puffs that somehow lost to Jacoby Brissett. This looked like a real team playing another real team who they're going to probably see again in January. So I'm mad. I hate when they lose. We all hate when they lose. We never want them to lose, but it's a part of the thing. If they win the next 15 weeks, do we even care about this game? if they go, 10-7 and win the Super Bowl. Do we care about this game? It doesn't matter. If they can right the ship and keep playing like they did and clean up those mistakes, this game means nothing. Maybe home field advantage is lost from this. Who knows? But they can win in Arrowhead. They've done it several times. They about did it last year. They about did it this week. So I'm not worried about it. We do have an alibi before we get into our next thing here. Zach forgot his fun stat.
Oh, yeah, I did. I had a fun stat. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 53 interceptions that have been overturned by penalties in the last 6 years. Riddle me that. Also, to your point,
the next closest was 7.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I didn't know that one. That is ridiculous. I thought that was a fun stat before.
Yeah,
But
My wife made me look it up.
That's insane. That's almost criminal that happens. But go ahead.
Out of curiosity, and I don't want to get, like I said, we're not trying to get into each individual call, but the one that overturned the DJ Turner interception. Now, I played defensive back in high school. Zach played defensive back in high school. And that's not saying we know anything about anything. But when you are hand battling each other within 5 yards, how is that illegal contact? When the tight end pushes off and the corner bumps him, how is that illegal contact? And Kelsey's sitting there, wow, how close of friends are you with the ref that you literally turn and just call out a number and then they throw a flag? To me, I was like, I don't want to get into the whole the refs ruined the game because the Bengals still should have won it anyway. Blame whoever you want to. But how is that pass interference? How is that illegal contact? I just don't see it.
Even Tony Romo was saying, I don't know if I agree with that one.
And if Tony
Listen, hold on.
Romo is going against them, that's bad.
But it's Tony
Okay.
Romo. Like, he's as bad as Chris Collinsworth. Let's call a spade a spade
No.
Yeah, I agree. He's terrible.
He's not as bad as Chris Collinsworth. He's bad, but he's not as bad as Chris Collinsworth.
Just don't put him in the same booth, okay?
Your Sunday Night Football crew next year.
Sound like they're drowning underwater.
Hey,
Okay,
but with that though, Casey, you were talking about that this was a good team win. We talked about it on Sunday or Monday when I woke up. I said team is beatable. They were 2 plays away in respective weeks between the Ravens and the Bengals of being 0-2. So they've shown that they are very much beatable. You just got to watch the tape and you got a game plan and you've got to not leave it in Patrick Mahomes' hands or the refs' hands. So keep playing your game, keep going out there, keep doing what you're doing. This team is very much beatable. And they don't use Travis Kelce anymore for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he's on my fantasy football team or something. I don't freaking know. But whatever.
They found out that he was on your fantasy football league, and they said, well, Burnsy picked him. We can't use him anymore. They knew it.
Today.
They figured it out.
I mean, I kind of want to talk about that. 1 catch for 5 yards, and Patrick Mahomes looks pedestrian. I mean, he would have been outplayed by half the quarterbacks in the league. He did not look good overthrowing. He kind of looked like Jacoby Brissett looked last week, and it makes me feel really good about the way the Bengals went this week. They should have won. Every statistic says that they should have won. I mean, aside from rushing, and we can just say that that's offensive line. The offensive line didn't open holes at all day long. But everything else said that they should have won that game, aside from the officials. But that's fine. That's going to happen every week.
So that's going to lead us into our next topic, which is basically the same topic as we just got off of, except we're doing a deep dive into what really happened. We're taking 2 to 3 minutes for each different aspect of the game and giving a quick overview of what we think really happened, what went wrong, what went right, how they're going to fix it. And Josh is up first with special teams.
Well, the big problem with special teams is going to be the missed PAT. That is really the only mishap that happened in special teams. I mean, nobody got to return any kickoffs, so you can't really say anything with that. Nothing really happened in the kicking game, punting. There was nothing spectacular like last week, that 80-yard punt. It was normal, not really big returns on either side. The big thing is going to be that missed PAT that would have had the game tied at the end. And that's kind of been the story for the past couple years. I love McPherson. He's my favorite kicker that they've had. Just his confidence in himself in 2021, the Super Bowl year, which made everybody in Cincinnati fall in love with him. It seems like he doesn't always have it, and you never know what you're going to get week after week with him. And him missing that PAT was kind of the Achilles heel from that game, which that 1 point could have either sent us into overtime or made them go for 2. And if they went for 2, there was no guarantee that they were going to win the game. So that would have been kind of the catch-22 there. But, I mean, that's really the only thing from that game, from the special team side, that I can pick anything to criticize. But
And I mean, quick sound for my section coming up here in a second, but why did they kick it anyway? They should have gone for 2. The Bengals should have gone for 2 instead of trying to kick that extra point anyway. So that's what I said in our group chat. That's instant karma. You should have gone for 2. So I don't understand. Anyways, but Josh, great overview of what the special teams look like. And everybody, if you don't already have your popcorn and drink and haven't taken a bathroom break, please quickly do that because Nick is on his soapbox. Take it away, Nicholas.
We are going to talk about the defense. Okay? Let's just get comfortable here. All right? Defense, secondary didn't look awful. They looked pretty good. All right? Our pass rush looked pretty good. Hendrickson was able to get to Mahomes twice. Really pressured him several times on top of the sacks. Hubbard was able to get in there, make some key plays. Our run defense was terrible. Tackling looked abysmal. Really need to make sure that we work on run defense this week in particular. Now, let's just call it for what it was. Hendrickson was getting held every play. And it wasn't like, oh, that's kind of a holding where, they're kind of just putting their arms around him. The guy had him in a headlock every single passing play. Every single passing play, the guy's arm was around his throat. And how do you not call that every single play? Every single play. And on top of that, the pass interference call that they called at the end of the game, that was, the controversial pass interference call. Well, guess what? There should have been a holding penalty on the guy blocking Hendrickson to offset the penalties and replay the down. Off of
How's
that.
that a personal foul? That's my question. Like, when you choke someone, that's not a holding. That's personal foul at that point.
Yeah. And essentially that's my point exactly. And so then on top of that, okay, I think that all in all, our defense was pretty darn good. Need to make a couple adjustments, especially when we're playing teams that have strong quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, playing against the Ravens with Lamar. We have to make adjustments playing against strong quarterbacks who also can run the ball. Okay? But all in all, I think that Lou did a great job preparing, knock out a couple of the stupid penalties that we made here and there. And I think that, we're gonna be Super Bowl contenders this year. I think that defense is stacked.
I like it. Zach, bring us back with the offense.
All right. So, what really happened with the offense? Well, Joe Burrow went 23 of 36 for 258, no interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 5 targets, 4 of those were catches, 35 yards. Only 13 yards was the longest catch he had of the day. As I mentioned earlier, Jermaine Burton had his 47-yard catch to open up the second half, which was awesome. Yoshi, 2 catches on 4 targets, only 7 yards for him, but both of those catches were for the 2 touchdowns from Joe B. So that was good. Machine Gun Mike G, 7 catches, 91 yards on 9 targets. Looked very, very impressive, much like most of everybody else within the tight end core on the day, but just goes to show you why we went and picked up Mike Gesicki in the offseason. The offensive line only gave up 3 sacks the entire game. Very, very impressed with their improvement from last week to this week. And then the run game. Still a lot of questions. Why can't we figure out how to freaking run the ball? I'll talk about it a little bit more in the Commanders matchup, but the run game, we went 22 carries for 74 yards between 3 carriers. That was Chase, Brown, that was Zach Moss, and Joe Burrow. 74 yards between 3 backs. That's not going to win you football games. That's not going to open up the play action. We've got to do a little bit more. It doesn't even open up the RPOs. I don't even, like Peyton Manning said on Monday Night Football last night, I don't even know what an RPO is. I don't really like it. I like the R's and I like the P's, but I don't really care for the O's.
Oh, goodness.
Shout out to Peyton. You can come on our podcast
Omaha.
too. We can talk football all day.
Omaha.
We're actually going to have the Manning cast on. And I mean by Manning cast on, we're just kind of in the background during one of our shows. So there we go.
Next Monday.
Moving
That's
in.
how we'll do it.
Hey, that's how we'll roll. Moving into coaching and strategy, I've already given a little bit of my thoughts on the overall coaching, but they had a good game plan going in. I will give them credit. They didn't look outmatched by a powder puff team like they did against the Patriots. They were aggressive. They let Joe Burrow play his game. They gave him opportunities to do well. The defense looked good overall, like Nick said. Zach said the offense was ready, and they were. Mistakes. There was some mistakes, and I know people fairly or unfairly will think I'm wrong on this one. Things like what happened with Jamar Chase, that's a discipline problem. That's a Zach Taylor problem. You can't allow that in your culture. You can't have that kind of stuff happen. Penalties, that's another, discipline problem. The coach has to know the right people to put in at the right times, and penalties can't happen. You'll win ball games by not having penalties. That's pure and simple. But overall, I'd give them a B plus for their game plan and how it was executed. Pretty good, but still some things they got to work out. One thing I want to say before we get off this game is I think Brad Robbins is cut. Who else agrees? Show of hands. All right, so everybody agrees. We should never have to talk about Brad Robbins again. I like it. So the trivia question this week. Last week we had, when was the last time before 2021 that the Bengals won in week 1? And I was hoping not to have to use this question because I was hoping we'd win. But when is the last time that the Bengals won a game in week 2?
$2017.
I was going to say 2016. 2015.
Well, then I'm going 2015.
That is correct. It was 2015, the 8-0 season to start off. Yeah, that is correct. It's been a long time. Maybe we just shouldn't watch football in week 2. I mean, at this point, I just don't think they have a chance. The odds are against them.
Hey, Zach Taylor hasn't won a game in week 2 yet. And that's going from 2019 to now. So it would have had to have been 2015. Yeah, that makes no sense. That was a ridiculous stat.
It's bad. I mean, like I said, that they've made it so easy for me this week. I didn't even have to look up anything hard because right after we did the question on last week's show, I was like, man, just for kicks, I'm going to look this one up just in case they lose. And they did. So speaking of other things that are unpleasant, what about Andy Dalton being named the starting quarterback in Carolina, and we get to play him right after Monday Night Football the very next week? Is this another Andy Dalton Revenge Tour? Thoughts, Nick?
I don't think it's another Andy Dalton Revenge Tour. I think he hit his peak and he's on the downslope. As much as I used to like the red rifle here, it's not going to happen. I think our defense and having Joe Burrow at the helm is going to be. I think it's going to be too much for Andy Dalton and Carolina to really have a chance.
Yep. No, I agree with you. What I'm curious about before, I let Zach or Josh have their say if they have anything else they want to add about the Red Rifle. How is Carolina pricing their tickets as high as they are? Because I thought this may be a good opportunity to go watch the Bengals this season. And their ticket prices are ridiculous for a team that's going to win maybe 1 to 3 games this season. Who's coming to your games? You're going to be the Chicago White Sox by the end of the season and have 17 people in attendance, because those for nosebleed tickets, anywhere from $68 to $180 for 3 rows from the top of the stadium. Your team is garbage.
Casey, it's the cost of living, okay? It's inflation. It's what it is. It's inflation. You make more money now, man. You should be better off.
Oh. Says our resident economist here, still, garbage product, don't charge so much. Burnsy or Josh, you got anything you want to add about Andy Dalton?
I'm super excited. Yeah. Hey, we have the same thought. So I'm super excited to see Andy Dalton play in week 4 against Cincinnati. I think it's going to be awesome. They actually have more competent quarterback play because Bryce Young is a dumpster fire. He's horrible. It just sucks for Andy Dalton because there's literally nobody on the team better than he is. And he is beyond going down the slope. He is done. And it stinks to say because I loved Andy Dalton when he was here. He was a team first guy, and he was somebody that was very easy to root for. He was dependable. He was somebody that you really wanted to see win. But the Carolina Panthers are probably just a step above the Boone County Rebels. And that is not good for an NFL franchise. That is bad. I don't know if they're going to win 2 games this season. If they do, it's going to be teams just starting everybody that is on the practice squad or that cut from every other single team. But I want to see what Nick has to say. Not Nick, Zach. You Zach. Hat.
I got my pencil ready. I'm going to give it to you guys like Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friends. Andy Dalton is going to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and it's going to be the start of the revenge tour. Let me tell you, because the man is coming, and he's coming back with a vengeance. He's got to play 4 of his previous teams. Yeah, I think he's fired up. Happy for him. Happy for Jordan. It's going to be a great opportunity for both of them, for him to be back in that role. But I still think we win. It's Carolina. I don't know who he's going to throw the ball to. It's going to be interesting. He might run all 3 of them for 300 yards. Okay, who knows? Again, our run defense is abysmal right now because we have nobody to stop them in the front 7. So, again, I'm going to talk about that in our next segment. But, yeah, it's exciting to see. I'm excited for him, and it's a great opportunity. As for Bryce Young, again, same thing. Like, he's young. He's had 18 games to figure it out, but yet Daniel, what's that dude's name in New York? Daniel Jones. Yeah,
Jones.
He's got 60. He's about to start his 65th game. He's no better. Apples, what are we talking about here?
This weekend, comparing him to a McDonald's Happy Meal. Can't throw touchdowns, neither one. Can't read a defense, neither one. Happy Meals make people happy. Daniel Jones makes people sad. So there you go.
Give me that Happy Meal.
So to get us back on track here, we're going to be focusing in on the actual opponent that we're going to be playing this week. The team formerly known as the Redskins, now called the Commanders, even though they're getting sued to go back to Redskins. That's not our business. We don't get into legal matters. We're just going to talk about the actual football team and the fact that it is the Ring of Honor game on Monday Night Football. Blackout is in effect. It's going to be – I was hoping for a whiteout. I like the white uniforms, but we'll take a blackout. Should be an interesting look. And, just taking a look at the preview here. So, Zach, what are your thoughts on getting into Monday Night Football?
For me, the matchup to watch is going to be Washington's run game, which is ranked 6th right now, versus Cincinnati's run defense, which is 26th. So that's going to be a very pivotal matchup to watch. Also, I think the Bengals defense needs to force Jaden Daniels to throw the daggone football and make him make rookie mistakes. This is only his 3rd game. You've got 2 games to watch him. Make it happen.
I like it. Josh, what are your thoughts coming into this one?
It kind of goes down to the same thing. It really is covering Jaden Daniels. The Bengals, I think, are specially equipped for that because we have the best running quarterback in the league in Lamar Jackson in our division, and we have to find a way 2 times a year to contain him and make him throw the football because I think as Jaden Daniels, he's not going to be as good if he has to rely on staying in the pocket and throwing the football. So if they can keep him in the pocket, I think it's going to be an easy night. You have Austin Eckler, but you have really nobody aside from Austin Eckler and Jaden Daniels on your team that can really threaten anything. So hopefully that's really all that they're going to see in the defensive line, and the linebackers can really just contain everybody up front, force him to try and beat him with his arm.
I think that the key takeaway going into this game on defense is going to be our run defense. Still playing that 2-man overlook, having the 2 safeties, just like we, really focused on limiting Patrick Mahomes' arm, doing that again with Jaden Daniels. But I think more importantly, it's going to be Davis Gaither, Jermaine Pratt, and Logan Wilson. I think them being able to fill in on the run tackles, and having some form of pressure from Hubbard and Hendrickson on Daniels, I think that's going to be our key takeaway right there. We limit their run game and then have Hendrickson go off, have a 2-3 sack game, Hubbard have a sack or 2. I think that's going to be the key to the win.
I think you got to get off to a fast start. You got to get some points up there. You got to make them play from behind. They can't beat you if you're playing at the lead. If you get up on them by more than 2 scores, or at least 2 scores, the ball game's over. I don't see the Commanders coming back in that kind of situation. I just don't think they have the skills and abilities. Like you guys have all mentioned, the way they beat you is run it down your throat and keep it a very close game. That's what they're going to be looking to do. That's what they're going to be trying to do. And that's going to lead us into our prediction section here. So, who am I going to throw at it first? Nick, what's your prediction?
I predict that our defense has a day, and Joe Burrow finds 3 different receivers in the end zone, one of those being Jermaine Burton for a deep ball for a TD, and I say we win big 28-9.
Ooh, 28-9. I like it. Josh?
I think this team's going to come out angry. And you don't want to make this Tiger angry because they're going to just run all over you. They're going to destroy you. So I think They're going to come out. Burrow is going to be – so that look that he showed at the end of the Chiefs game is going to come back to bite the next team in the butt. And unfortunately, it is a bad team. It's going to be, I'm going to say 42-10 Bengals.
42-10. All right. Zach?
The Commanders failed to score a touchdown and won a football game last week against the Giants. That's pretty impressive. I think we've done that in the past too, though. So, I wouldn't be surprised. I want them to not leave it in the hands of McPherson, kind of like we did on most of our drives last week. So, again, offense is angry. Everybody's pissed off. Everybody's probably busting their butt all over practice right now, just getting ready to prepare for Monday. I like 45 for the Bengals. Give me 17 for the Commanders. 45-17. I think they score twice. I think Brian Robinson gets one, and I think Jaden Daniels gets away too. So,
Man, so blowout, big win.
Josh, what
Everybody's
was your
picking
prediction
Bengals.
again?
42-10.
And then mine was
I'm gonna
28-9.
And I'm going to go ahead and just totally throw everybody off here. And I'm going to pick the Bengals to win. So the Bengals, I think, are going to win this one. I'm not going to call it as big of a blowout. There's still going to be some mistakes. There's still going to be some errors. I'm going with 27-13 is what I'm going to go with for this one. So there we are. Nobody got points last week. There's no such thing as points unless you call them. They have to at least do what you say. So if they win and you're the closest, you can get it. But you have to not go over. It's Price is Right kind of rules here. So, yes, I called them losing, but I went over. So there you go. It is what it is.
Me too.
So nobody got any points. Wah, wah. And that brings us to recapping the TB challenge, or the Talkin Bengals challenge. 151 yards is where Patrick Mahomes ended up. And Nick gets it almost. He was off by one, which means you get absolutely nothing. You are awarded no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I do need God's mercy, but that's for another conversation.
We accept all things here. We're not judgy. Anyways, coming into this week's question. So the tight ends went off last week to set a record with, most tight end yards during the Joe Burrow era. So if you can guess exactly the number of combined tight end yards, you're going to get that awesome Talkin Bengals t-shirt that is the Anderson brothers. If you haven't seen it, Zach's going to drop it in right here so you can see it. And that's pretty much where we are. Closing thoughts, gentlemen. Let's see, Josh.
I think we should all give our answer to that on the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. 4 closing thoughts then.
Saying
I will record that as
112.
well. Let's see. How many?
I'm saying 112. I got them recorded right here.
Oh, man, we got all kinds of fancy technologies keeping stuff.
I'm on a computer.
Josh, what do you got?
132.
132. Thackeray?
Doing math.
Let's see. Well, I'm just seeing what they did last week to see if I want to go higher, lower. Well, let's see. It was about what, one. You said 151?
That was my whole.
I think it was about 151. I don't know.
It's close. Somewhere in the 150s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, give me 163. It's gonna be a great week.
I'm gonna go ahead and just guess the over there and go with 164.
Oh,
All right, Bob.
We're totally Price is Writing this one.
give me $1.
I was just
Bob.
calling you. I was just calling you Bob because you're a Bob. But anyways,
Whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. All right,
Listen,
let's get
Bobber.
out of here. We've gone a little bit too long here, Thackeray and Nicholas. Nick, closing thoughts.
my closing thoughts are: I'm not even going to talk about the Bengals on this one. I'm going to talk about youth sports. Understand that youth sports, when you're a parent to a child who is playing, you are there to be their biggest fan and to root them on. And you are also there to cheer them up if something were to happen. You are not there to try to live through them playing the game in front of you. You're there to watch them enjoy the game that you love watching them play. You
Well
disagree
said.
with one of the coaches or you disagree with the referees, be respectful, be an adult, teach your kids the right things to do.
I like it. Well said. Serious topic. Well said. Josh, closing thoughts? You have to follow that up too. You're-
I am going to talk about the Bengals because, I mean, I've got two daughters that do cheer. I got two daughters. One does cheerleading. The other one's not old enough. But let's just get out there, get out, start fast, get going. Show them that you're one of the best teams in the league. You're ready to go for the Super Bowl this year. This is it. Hopefully T. Higgins comes back and he's ready to play. This is going to be the week that they get it right. Just like last season, they're just going to come out strong. And I'm just going to say Houday, big win, and let Zach finish it off here.
All right. Well, my closing thoughts before I get into them, I do want to say, if you don't already follow us on one platform and not all platforms, be sure to check us out on Facebook, the artist formerly known as Twitter, X, Tiki Talkies, the YouTubes, the Gram, and Threads. It's all Talkin_Bengals. There's only one G besides me. And my closing thoughts. Dang, we should have won that game. That game sits very hard on the stomach. So, dang. Yeah, that's all I can really come up with as I keep thinking about that one because of how beatable Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs looked. And we've got a great opportunity to go out here. We talked about trap games on the preview. I think this could still be a trap game if we don't play our game well. So there's a chance we go 0-3, but at the same time, like I said during the predictions, I don't think it's going to be anywhere close as long as we can stop the run game. So let's go for it. Casey's take us home.
In addition to our wonderful socials, we also have merch. Come look at all our awesome merch at our Etsy shop at Seasoned Enterprises on Etsy. You can also find all that same stuff at talkingbengals.com. You got little ones, they like little cute ghosts with Bengals hats on. Get our Boudet hoodie or t-shirt for them. You can also get some sweaters for your lady friends, Sunday fun day, or they can get their own Boudet. Or if you're that hardcore Bengals fan who loves Ken and Willie Anderson, we talked about the Anderson Brothers t-shirt already. Pick you up one of those, get you a Talkin Bengals shirt, get you a Talkin Bengals hat. If you're from Flowtown like the rest of us here, get your Florence shirt with the water tower because that is iconic and it is known across the country and also in other parts of Canada. I've met people that know exactly where I'm from just by naming that water tower. So pick up the great merch. But my closing thought is stay classy. Don't hate on other Bengals fans. People, deal with losses in their own way. And just because people don't celebrate or grieve the way you do over a loss, let it go. There needs to be nothing but love within the Cincinnati Bengals fan community. We are all one team, moving in the same direction. And before I pontificate on it too long, players come and go, coaches come and go. The fan base is the Cincinnati Bengals. That's how they endure. So don't hate on each other. Be good and hooday.
Houday.
Hooray!